Hi, it's Jez here from Nigezza.co.uk. Thank you for joining me today. Now, on my blog back in November, I shared this box and I've never done a video on it. And I gave this to my son for Christmas with a present in it. And he went, "Oh, lovely box." And he was packing his Christmas things away and I went, "You're going to have to give me the box back because I haven't filmed it yet." So this paper and die set and everything is obviously retired. So I'm going to make it again now with some current stuff, some current Christmas stuff, because we do have Christmas sets in the annual catalogue. And I am making this for a Christmas blog hop. I do a Christmas blog hop every month. So although I have shared it on a blog before, I'm sharing it in the new one I'm about to make. So this comes off. You've got a nice label there for writing on. And inside it's just a ready mix canned drink. Okay, this one's pink gin and tonic. I don't drink pink gin. I just drink gin with tonic. I don't like flavours in it. But lots of people like the pink version. I didn't give gin. James had this can that I bought him. Yeah, I just thought nice little present. We wanted something just to sort of bulk out. We were buying him something really big for Christmas, and so we had to get him lots of little cheap things so it didn't look like he had nothing to open. So yeah, so they're handy gifts like that, handy gifts for workmates or what have you. So for this one we are going to use, oh, it's on the floor, we're going to use the Tidings of Christmas DSP. Haven't got much of it left, on a mission to use up my DSP, and I appear to be winning. And we're going to use the dies. I'm going to use this star die. So these are the coordinating dies. They're Christmas trimming dies. There is a stamp set. We're not using the stamp set today. I've chosen to go cherry cobbler. I was limited by the paper that I had left and I needed 2 sheets. This one I didn't use 2 the same. But they were so similar. But you do need more than 1 sheet, and I'm going to show you how I cut them to make sure that you get like the best way of cutting. I don't know why I'm putting that not in its right place. So you need a bit of cardstock for the base. This measures 9 inches by 6 1/8. I know people don't like 1/8 of an inch, but that is the way it is. And that does seem odd that it's an 1/8 inch tool, but it just worked. It just worked for me. And the base, the lid rather, is 6 3/8 by 6 3/8, and you've got to add a 1/16, which I know some people will go, really? But I'm going to show you how easy it is if you've got the Stampin' Up trimmer. So at the point where this hinges, it's between 6 1/4 and 6 1/2. You've got 6 3/8 sort of there where the join is, which is kind of where we want to be, and then we want plus a 1/16, which is just that little mark there. Now I'm gonna come closer to the camera so that you can see. So that there, big line there, is 6 1/2, which is 4/8. So these little marks in between are your 1/16. So you're going to cut to that little mark there. Let me get a pointer because you can't really see. You're gonna, then a pointer, you're gonna cut to that little mark there. That's your 6 3/8 plus a 1/16. So it's not that hard. So this is why I didn't cut this piece, so that you could see it. So when it's open, it's really hard now on my desk. I don't physically have that amount of room, so I'm putting it on a slant. So we're going up to that little line just before the half mark. And this is important. That 16th is what allows the lid to fit over the base. So 6.5 back to that little line there, which is 6 1/8 plus a 16th. And that gives us our square for the lid. And then we've got scraps left over that we can use to cut our star out. I'll just put them over there with the other bits. And then whilst I've got my trimmer out, I'll show you how I'm going to cut the DSP. So we want 4 bits for the bottom and we want 5 bits for the top. So they are all 1 7/8 inch wide. So we're going to cut, and 7/8 is just before the 2. So it's not the tiny line, it's the one next to it is your 8th line. I know some people get confused about that. So we're cutting 1 7/8. Up there you will get 3 strips out of each one. But we need 4, which is why you need a second sheet. Over a tad, taddy. And then you're going to have a little strip. We're going to cut another one, but we're going to cut 3 3/4. That is the bit for the bottom. And then the bit for the top is 1 15/16. So it's the small line just before the 2 is your 1 50. So it's not quite square. It's a little bit bigger than a square. So that is the top and the bottom. So 3 3/4. And you can do it so they kind of run together. Not that it matters, because the way it sits on the box, they overlap, so it doesn't really matter. There we go. Oh, just realised, rookie mistake, is that the wider bit's going that way. And that bit's going that way. I don't think that matters. Does that matter? That might matter to you, in which case you can ignore everything I've just said. No, I actually think it looks quite nice having it. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. So let's just ignore that explanation. And we should still have enough to cut it. So I'm going to cut this at 3 3/4. That's a dirt brain. I thought I was cooking on gas there, but I clearly wasn't. Clearly wasn't. So, never mind. So, we do need a 3 3/4 strip. So we're going to cut this at 1 7/8. We should have enough out of that to cut what we want. I'm hoping. Otherwise, we will be going in the wrong direction. 3 3/4. So those squares can be used for something else. So now we want these So they are so on the width is the longest bit, so we're going to cut this at 1 15/16 that way, and then we're going 1 7/8 this way, yeah. There's a bit of me that feels I've done that wrong again, Jez. Oh, do you know, some days you just need to start again. So I've written it down now so I don't get it wrong. So it's 1 15/16 wide, so it's that way, and it's 1 7/8 tall. So 1 7/8 tall, 1 15/16 wide. So that one's correct. These are all incorrect because they're going the wrong way. So we've done one correctly. So this is the width it needs to be. So we need to be cutting this way for the width, which is 1 15/16. And then the height is 1 7/8. Are you confused? Hopefully now you won't be. 2 and 3. And then, so 1 15/16 wide, 1 7/8 tall. So that's my 4 to go around the top of the lid. And then for the very top of the lid, that's 1 15/16 square. So we've got 1 15/16 that way. We're going to cut this at 1 15/16. So there we go. That's our larger one. I'm going to write on that one that it's the larger one. So that's 1 15/16 by 1 15/16. So that is the top. Otherwise, it could all go a bit peak-tong. So now instead of having a nice strip, I've got lots of little bits, but never mind. We'll do a scrap busting project probably with that. So I think it was worth me showing you and you seeing where I went wrong so that you don't actually make that mistake. One hopes. Okay, so those are those bits all sorted. So, and then we have got mats for this in cardstock, already cut that out. So you've got 4 mats there at 2 by 1/16, and that is for all the little bits around the side. So they're having a little tiny margin all the way around. The one on the top is 2 1/16 by 2 1/16. So again, that will mat on there with a tiny little margin all the way around. And then 4 for the side panels. They are 3 7/8 by 2, and they fit on there like that again with that same little margin. Okay, so they're all prepared. So now let's get to making our box. Oh, I went a little bit squiff then. There we go. So get the scoreboard out. So we're going to score on this long side at 2 1/8, which is that first notch there past the 2. 4 1/4, 6 3/8. I will have all the measurements, of course, over on nigezza.co.uk, and 8 1/2. It is a square, yeah. So that is 2 1/8 as well along the bottom. And then the lid, our square of our lid, we are going to score at 2 1/8 on all 4 sides. Okay, 2 1/8 all the way around. And that's that bit done. So as usual, it is fold and burnish all the score lines. If I could actually find my bone folder. I've clearly used it recently and not actually put it back. Oh well, find another one. I put a little a meme up in my group, Nigezza Creates Crafty Place, and it was like, you know you're a crafter when you've got 5 pairs of scissors and you can't find a single one of them. That applies to bone folders as well. So that's them. Did I score them all? And then this one the same. It's a good job I've got more than one bone folder, because if I only had the one, I'd be stuffed right now. I can see 3 others, but not my Stampin' Up one, which I really love the feel of in my hand. This one's quite heavy, this is Teflon one, but I do like the straight edge of that one. Anyway, so there we go, put that back, all done. So now we're going to do some slicing and dicing. So we want to get rid of our little rectangle there. So we're going to cut up there, and we're just going to notch in there and notch to there. There we go. That's the back, so this one's going to be the front. So this one I want to make sure that I cut on the inside of both our score lines, and then we're going to slightly notch all the others. So just to save time, I am notching as I go on this one. Little notch there, little notch there. Oh, that's a big notch. Oh, but it matters. So that's that bit done. And then the lid is done slightly differently because it is a square. So we are forgetting what we're doing here. You know, I've just suddenly had a brain freeze of what I do. Cut up there. Yeah. Should have gone the other side of that score line. And we're going to do a little notch there and a little notch there. I like to rotate, cut up the inside of that score line and notch there. And notch there. I do find it really difficult cutting in this direction. Rotate again, a bit like a pinwheel, up there, do our little notches. And then lastly, there we go. So that is our lid there with the pinwheel. Now I'm just going to check, did I trim off those flaps? I can't remember, because I made it in November. No, I kind of left them. So they are all going to go that way to form our box. And this is going around there like that, and they'll be tucked under to form our box, and then our lid will fit round nicely. So to make life easier, we are going to stick our panels on here first. So we need to stick them together first before we stick them to the box. So bring in the panels and let's get them stuck down. I'm going to do that top first so that I don't do it wrong. So I am a lover of wet glue, so I know this is the right one. I wrote on it. I might have left this lid off a bit long. I felt the air go in then, so I think we're all right. Yeah. Yep. Doesn't matter which way up. Because it's only going to be in the right direction in one way. So let's get all the rest of these stuck down. I'm looking for if I've got any sharp edges that need sorting out. No, I don't. Right, so I'm going to speed this section up. So that's them all glued together, and then they just need to be stuck on there. I kept that one to one side so that I would know where it's going, and so I'm kind of doing these so that they're in the right direction. So they all need to go on like so, and then that's the top, that's the bottom. These are going to get stuck on here like so. So I'm going to get them all stuck down. There we are, so they are all stuck down nicely. So now we just need to assemble. So I'm going to do the base first because I like to build my lid around the base, and then I know it's going to fit. So yeah, I was just double checking. So I'm going to put glue down there. So it's a box, so you need a wet glue, you need tear and tape, or Stamp and Seal Plus for this, or whatever strong glue you favour. When I first joined Stampin' Up, which just had my 5th anniversary, well, as I'm filming this I haven't had my 5th anniversary yet, but as you see this video would have had my 5th anniversary. We used to sell red liner tape. So I am going to just put a spot of glue on that to hold that in place. Oh, it would hold that in place if that was actually anywhere near it. There we go. Keeping it square, keeping it square. I'll put a little bit on there. Hold that down. And then we're going to go all the way around the edges of this one. Not round the bottom edge. We're going to put glue on that flap for that. So we've got 4 layers of cardstock there. So it's going to be quite a strong box. And that's, we're going to put our bone folder in there. To hold that all together. So that's that bit. And then on lid, we need to glue all these flaps underneath these bits. I went off camera then, I'm sorry. There we go. That's where they're going to get glued down, and if you do it over the box, it's going to fit. And I normally do it that way, so it's quite solid round the base, and then you know it's going to go round the lid. Okay, so I'm going to put a bit of glue on this. We have a little bit of wiggle time, which is good because it's always more difficult to get your last one in. So we're not going to press hard until I've got glue on all 4 sides. So glue along the edge there, and then just a bit along there, and then this last one, glue along the edge, and then in there, and then they should all slip in, and we can now give it a press against the sides of the boxes, and Tombow dries very quickly. That would be hard to do with Stampin' Seal Plus or tear and tape because it does tend to stick straight away. So I'm going to get my can. So you can have that as a box like that, which is quite cute. But I've made it so that the can will fit in, and so then you've got that gap to pull it out. If you'd have made it all the way to the edge, it makes it quite hard to get out. So then that fits on like so. So now all we need is our ribbon and our little label. So always forget because you need to lift it that way. So where is my dies gone? They're here. So I thought, well, I could choose anything really. I could do a bit of stamping and do a stocking, or I could make it. This one I think is a bit too big. I thought this one was just quite a nice little size to hang from it. I thought it was quite cute, and I can do it in the same way as I did the other. So I cut this star out of white, that one out of cherry cobbler, and job's a good one. So I've got some scraps which I can use. So if I can actually pick it up. That, oh no, that one's not quite big enough. I've got other scraps. There it is on the floor. I knew I had a scrap that I wanted. So I'm going to do that one in cherry cobbler, and then I'm going to get a bit of Whisper White and cut that one out. So I'm going to get them die cut. So that's them die cut out. So we have a star there, and then that one fits on top there, and I think that'll look quite cute. Okay, so just going to glue these together, and that's where my little glue pot comes into its own, because it's got such a thin nib. So just dot that around. Oh, that was quite a lot there, Jess, really. Don't think you meant to do that. There we go. I'll take my spreader. Spread that around a tad. And then my glue pot. My glue falls down in my pot. Rests there nicely. Normally. Oh, little frog in free throat. And then I can just place that down. Got a little bit of wiggle room. And that's that done. And then what I did was I just cut a little hole. I have a little crocodile, but any little hole punch will work. So just put a little hole so that I can thread through. There we go. Thread through some twine so that it can be attached to the ribbon. I'm just reminding myself of what I did. So just poke that through. And then I'm going to put the ribbon round and then tie it to it. So I'm going to use our white crinkle seam binding again, because I think that's perfect. So I'll pull it round and have a little bow here. Tie the knot, tighten the knot at 90 degrees to where I want it sitting. So I'm going to tighten it up and down like that, because I want the bow to sit the other way around. Not the easiest bows to be tying. May not have given myself enough of a tail. No, really want a little bit more there. Want a little bit more. Come up a little bit more. There we go. That is a bit better, so we'll take that off there. Then that's a little bit easier now. Just tying this, I know you can't really see. I'll put it down a bit now, but move it to where you want it. I like it like that, and then I can take this, go up there, and I'm going to give this a little bit of a tie. Double knot it. I've now got quite a lot of glue on the end of my fingers, and they're feeling a little bit sticky, which makes this a little bit harder. But I'm managing. There we go. There we are. Pull that down. Have that sitting there. And that is, we'll just trim the ribbon a tad, give it a nice shape. That there. That there. I could trim them knot ends down a little bit, so they're not quite so visible. And that is my little Christmas box in February. Nothing like being ahead of the game. So yeah, I hope you like that. That is in fact the back of the box. So I'm going to slip it off and slip it on the right way. There. So now the pattern on the lid's going in the right direction, and we've got the neater section there. So really easy to slip on and off and adjust how you want it. So that's that. So that's the original one, and that's my new one. And you can see how different it looks depending on the dies and the paper you use. So I hope you like that. All details will be down below of everything that you can buy. I'll link to the blog. Go and check out the blog hop as well and see what other Christmas things people have made. I think it's, I like Christmas crafting all year round. So yeah, and it's a good thing we have Christmas stuff in the annual catalogue. Otherwise that would be difficult, wouldn't it? All right then, thanks for joining me. See you all again soon. Bye.